I'm Nicole Jones, host of Mediocre to Masterful, a podcast teaching you how to go after your goals that you've pushed to the side. This is a resource to help you be fearless with your goals and familiar with the feeling of success. This podcast includes best practices to elevate your goals in multiple areas to help you pursue mastery over your life. I am here with CG Townsend, the owner and founder of Balance Not Busy. She is making waves with this new brand because a lot of people can definitely relate to feeling the hustle and bustle of life and feeling like we have to balance it all. So I am super excited to have CG on this week's show. CG, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I am so excited for you to be here and talk about this very real topic. And I love the title, Balance Not Busy, because it's easy to relate to.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if you could tell us more about you and how Balance and Busy even got started.
Sure. So, as you mentioned before, my name is CG Townsend, and thank you again for having me today. I, wear many hats. So, professionally, I am in public relations, and I work at Cox Communications. I also moonlight as a Pure Barre instructor. I am a wife, a bonus mom, a friend, a daughter, a community leader. And last but certainly not least, I am chief motivator at Balance Not Busy. And really, Balance Not Busy has been quite the ride for the past 5 years or so. What really started as a hashtag has now evolved into social media inspiration and then onto a blog. And now I facilitate workshops, and I am a speaker, a public speaker, in really just helping to inspire people to embrace balance and stop the glorification of busyness.
I love it. I think a lot of people, that's going to hit home with them. They're like, girl, you are speaking to my heart right now because, because I am guilty of just being busy. Being busy and really feeling like I have no balance in my life and I need to figure this thing out. They just don't know how to figure this thing out.
Absolutely. I mean, you and so many other people.
Yes. So you gave us a list of amazing things that you are doing. I mean, you are a bonus mom, you work, you have Balance Not Busy, you're a Pure Barre instructor, all those amazing things.
Yeah.
How are you balancing all of those things and still not remain busy? Because I'm pretty sure everybody's like, okay, she is the queen of a lot of busy activities right now. Please tell me, how are you able to balance all that? And how can I do it with just half of the list that you have?
Yeah, well, there are a couple of things like real life tactics that I apply every single morning. Number one, I have a very prescriptive routine in the mornings, and I am really not here for making a lot of changes, especially as they impact my ability to get what I need to get done. So I wake up very early every morning. I'm very particular about spending time with devotion and in meditation. I work out every morning. And really, I do a lot of things before most people get up so that I can have that quiet time to prepare myself to be the best version of myself each and every day.
Yes.
And so, that is very important to me, and I stick with that through and through. One of the other things is that I give myself a lot of grace. Life changes, and, even just in the past couple of months, I got a promotion at work. Got a lot of things going on in our house, our personal lives, while I'm also building a business and building a brand. And so I'm very mindful that I'm human and I'm not a robot. And, I'm not expected, or I don't even give myself the expectation that I have to operate, in a robotic manner. I have feelings, I have emotions, I ebb and flow with my life changes. So second, I give myself a ton of grace. The third thing is that I really use my to-do list as a guide, and it's actually interesting because I was attending an event earlier this week where that was mentioned, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one. But I use my to-do list as a guide, and I don't look at those checklists every day and say, oh my gosh, I have to finish every single thing. Rather, I have a laundry list of things that I have to do every single day. But I pluck out like 3 or maybe sometimes 5 if I'm feeling really aggressive, things that are like my hot items. And as long as I get those things done, then I feel like I've accomplished it all. So my definition of having it all or doing it all, and I'm doing air quotes here, you know, for me, that changes every single day. So if I don't get the clothes folded on a Tuesday, but I'm a badass in getting all my emails out, I'm good. I feel great, you know? Like,
right, that is a win.
I don't feel like I have to do every single thing every single day.
No, those are amazing points. And they're so simple, but so true. Just 3 tips of having a routine schedule, you know, as least change as possible, so you're able to keep that routine on a daily basis. Giving yourself grace, which is super important because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are really hard on themselves.
Absolutely.
And then keeping that to-do list as a guide versus you need to complete every single item on that list.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like a lot of people might create a to-do list that is just uber ambitious and unrealistic, and then when you don't complete it, you do have that guilt, that feeling of, you know, I wasn't able to accomplish this, so, you know, now I got to be Superwoman again for another 6 days or so, or every day.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy about that idea is that you hit the nail on the head. I've got to be Superwoman, right? But what we don't realize, if you truly look at action figures and you watch, you know, superhero movies, they take the cape off. They take it off, they fold it up, and they put it away.
Wow.
And you know when they bring it out? When there's something really pressing that has to be done. So why is it that we feel like we have to wear our cape every single day, 24/7, 365 days of the year? It's just, it doesn't make any sense. You have to take it off, fold it up, put it away, recharge your batteries, and then pull it out when you have something really, really, really hardcore, you know, maybe a big project at work, or you're buying a home and you need to like really hone in and focus on getting that done. Or maybe you're planning your wedding, or maybe you're planning a birthday party. You know, take out that cape when you have those massive big projects and things that you really, really want to get done. Otherwise, just be human. Be normal.
I love that. That is absolutely perfect. I don't think I've heard anyone say it in that manner in terms of, you know, everyday life and the term Superwoman when it comes to, you know.
Well, let me tell you, I watch Marvel and I love a good Marvel movie.
I do too.
And so I take my cues from real superheroes.
Spoken from a true Marvel fan. That is awesome. I love it. I love it. Where do you think we get this stigma, this idea that, you know, we always have to be on, this requirement that we have to handle it all and that we have to be Superwoman every single day?
Society, you know, and it's a couple of different things. So over the years, especially, and I mean, this is like, you know, real life data. So this is not necessarily my subjective opinion, but in the 80s, there was an uproar of people working more, longer, harder than they ever had before. Yeah. And it created like this whole notion of the work-life balance. You know, many women found themselves wanting to do what had traditionally been male roles. And so they were being hard on themselves. You know, they had something to prove. They wanted to get out in the workforce. They wanted to prove that women could be just as productive and just as powerful as men. And so with that, there came consequences. You know, we found ourselves in a place where we are just working, you know, 24/7, because the truth of the matter is that you can be in the office, you know, whatever your office may be, whether it's a home office or in a corporate environment or, you know, on a plane, whatever the case may be, you can do that for 12 hours and then come home and you're still on. You're still mentally processing the day.
Yes.
And so
yes.
in essence, you're working 24 hours, like gone are the days where you're working 9 to 5. That's just not happening. So because of that, we started this trend of keeping up. And at first it was keeping up with men. Now it's keeping up with others on social media and keeping up with ourselves.
Yep.
Keeping up with the expectations that we've given ourselves to be busy. And the interesting thing is that during that same time period, busy lost its positive way of thinking. Like there used to be a time where you were busy because you didn't want to have idle hands, from a biblical perspective, or you were busy because you were really identifying the things that you needed to get done, and because your plate was full, that was the definition of busyness. But now busyness is a detriment. It's an uncomfortable feeling. Like people have replaced what should be called productivity with busyness. And they want to do so many things because they feel like, oh, if I'm busy, I'm important. If I'm busy, I'm productive. And that's just not the case. I mean, you can walk up to anybody on the side of the road or an actual friend and ask them, how are you doing? And they're probably going to say, I'm busy.
I'm busy. Yep. That's like the number one response.
That is actually not a way to describe how you're doing. Maybe replace that with I'm well, or I'm good, or you know what, I had a kind of a long day, or I'm sad, or I'm not feeling well today, or my plate is full, but I feel pretty productive. There's so many different things that you can say rather than busy, because when you say busy, the undertone is almost like, well, I'm busier than you, so I don't even value what you've got on your plate because I just want to tell you about my life. And that's tough. That's tough for relationships, for families, for friends, for romantic relationships. That's tough. That's a tough way to live.
Yeah, I am guilty of being that person that used to say I'm just busy, and probably still say it here and there, but it's not all, and it really is like a loaded response, because that could literally mean anything. And the points that you just gave kind of fall into that, like I'm not well, I'm not good, or I'm busy, but I'm productive. Like it could really mean anything, and people don't really know how to take that or kind of respond like, okay, well, like, what do you mean busy?
Right. What does that mean exactly?
Yeah. Definitely guilty of the earlier point you made where work a 9 to 5, then come home and plug back in and answer emails, and literally working like 24 hours. Like I used to do that in my career and had to learn very quickly that is not the best way to operate, and that it really did not bring me any personal benefit other than, I had the luxury of working for a company that enjoyed my time because I was working for them nonstop, basically, but no real rewards were received because of that. Like my everyday work still was the same. Nothing really changed. No large significant promotion or, salary increase came of it. And really, I was just slaving.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And it's so crazy because a lot of times we know exactly what's going on, right? Like it's difficult to change, because I go back to that notion of the expectation that society has on us and keeping up with social media. And don't get me wrong, I love social media. I think it is a wonderful evolution of communication. And when used right, however one might just define the right way of using it, I think it's great, right? At the same time, the competition, the comparison, it has just transformed our way of thinking. And we no longer really sit down and set our goals and our to-do lists, etc., based on us. We also weigh in the world. And that, I struggle with, were we designed to be that type of person? Like, in my opinion, and this is one thing that I share often when I host workshops for Balance Not Busy, and I kind of set the foundation, I am not telling people to do a complete overhaul on their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the things that you need to get done, are the things that you need to get done,
mm-hmm.
especially those things that bring you great joy. Continue to do those. My stance is that I want you to reprioritize those things so that you're getting them done in a way that you feel like you are balanced and not glorifying busyness, and so that you thrive and not just survive.
Yes.
So, it's not, I am not one that typically says, you got to say no to everything. No, that's not what I'm saying. I am saying that you need to look at the things that are asked of you. You need to look at the things that are on your to-do list. And in the event that there is something that is hindering you from being able to do the things that bring you joy, whatever those things may be, for some people it's sleeping or eating. I mean, we don't have to...
the simple luxuries of life.
Right, like we don't have to get massages every day. I mean, like, it's just like whatever brings you joy, then you need to say, well, do I need to maybe say not right now instead of no or yes? Or do I need to give a hard no? Or do I just need to be honest with myself about my time? Because sometimes your lack of time is not necessarily because you have so much to do. Your lack of time could be because you're scrolling on Facebook for 5 hours out of the day. And in those 5 hours, you could have actually gotten a lot of things done.
Right.
Yeah. Sometimes it's self-inflicted. And there's so many different levels of honesty that we have to have with ourselves in order to truly not be busy. It's not just the external things. There are a lot of internal things going on in there too.
Yeah. I think what's going to be a good telltale sign of that example you just gave is just this new app or capability to tell how long you've been on your screen and on social media.
Yes.
Like, that's really going to show the facts in like, hey, yeah, you're on your screen all the time and your phone just told you that you were.
Right.
It's not just me telling this to you because everybody's doing it.
These are facts.
Yeah, this is a fact, ma'am.
Right.
So something that you just mentioned in the workshop and you're, explain to people, here are some ways you can make an adjustments and, transition your time really so it's more of your time and you don't feel so busy. I'm pretty sure there are women who have some sort of hesitation, and I'm saying women, I'm guessing it's mainly women, but there might be some guys in the workshop, but some may feel a bit of hesitation when you say, here are some things that you can move around, especially for those that may have kids, because it could sound like, are you telling me I should not spend time with my child? Like, what are you saying? And it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. How do you communicate that to moms of the world who handle so much?
The mom conversation comes up a lot. And in the same way that you have to take what I say and apply it personally to your life if you're not a mom, whether your quote unquote baby is a community organization that you care deeply for, or whether it's, a niece and a nephew, whatever the case may be, right? You have to take what I like to say, eat the fish and leave the bones. So eat everything that makes a whole lot of sense for you and nurtures you, and leave the stuff that you don't want clogging up your space, right? And that's with everything in life. But when I talk to moms specifically, I challenge them to be honest with themselves about their ability to delegate. And a lot of times the phrase mom guilt comes up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, moms will say, if not me, then who else? But the reality is, if you are, married and it's a two-parent household, or if you're not married and it's still a two-parent household, how are you engaging the other parent? How are you communicating your needs, your wants to the other parent? Because the reality is that whether it's a father or another mother in the home, they are not a babysitter. They are an able-bodied parent that can provide for the child.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, even if they're not the parent, they're an able-bodied adult that can care for the child. If you love that human, then you have to trust that human and know that you have support.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just really, really hard. But again, mom guilt comes from that whole space of doing it all, having it all, being able to navigate professional and personal lifestyles. It all comes from that really same icky space of the expectations that we put on ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like blaming yourself when you're not able to pick up your child from daycare. And then mentioning, well, his dad had to pick him up. Well, I mean, his dad had to pick him up? No, his dad gets to pick him up. You know, like, it's just that whole, it's so crazy. I mean, just the dynamics of it, honestly. Yeah. Like, you know, it's just, and honestly, the mom guilt, you know, because I know I mentioned, like, the busyness trend kind of started in the 80s. Good gracious, the mom guilt has started from the start of time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
You know, women for years have been, you know, told that they are the sole provider of the household. They are the, you know, keepers of so many things. And not only women, men have been told that women are, you know, so, and all we see on television or just all of these different things, that's why there's been such a rush to show that fathers can do things. You know, they can put the kid down. They can read the book to him at night while you go pop your feet up and drink a glass of wine. You know, I mean, they can do things. They are able-bodied people. But you know what? One thing that I love, and there's a really good book that I'll share, no paid ad here, but a book that I love called Drop the Ball by Tiffany DeFoo. And one thing that Tiffany really talks a lot about is how she had to drop the ball several times in order to better understand the people around her that could support her.
Wow.
And it was really, really good because she talked a lot about her husband and the role that her husband played, not only in childcare, but in like household management, like going to get the mail or making dinner or washing the dishes and all these different things that when you start to pluck out the things that are time sucks on your schedule and share the weight of the work, you will have so much more time. And not only will you have so much more time, you will feel so much better. Just like mentally and physically, you will feel better. Because you're not carrying around that weight and you don't feel like you're the sole person responsible for so many things. I mean, and that's not just at home. We have to do it in the workplace too. You know, we have to find, like, how can we collaborate more? How can we delegate more? How can we pull in additional resources? How can we work smarter and not harder?
Right.
And if you do that in every area of your life, you will be so surprised how much more balanced you will be.
In a sense, it's almost like decluttering your life because you have put on so much weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yes.
You have allowed many different people to enter your life, and now you feel like you are the responsible one or the person who is accountable for these people. And you just bring everything else on your plate except for what makes you happy and what you know you can actually mentally take care of and manage within 24 hours.
Exactly. No, I mean, you're spot on. And it's, you know, if we would apply some of the things that we do regularly that we don't think twice about, you know, like we'll closet clean out. We'll spring clean. We will take some time to clear out our garages and host a garage sale. Mm-hmm. But we should do those exact same things in the other areas of our lives.
Yes.
Do a spring cleaning of your mind. Do a closet clean out of your workspace. like think of it in that way, where you're just purging and deleting and decluttering and simplifying and just making life so much easier.
Yes, because just as rewarding and freeing as it feels to get rid of that stuff that's been sitting in your garage for years, I'm pretty sure that equates to your everyday life, the people in your life, the activities that don't serve you, like that. Those simple, changes in your life make a difference and allow you more room for things that you want to be bothered with or that you want to put your time into. So
absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. The things that don't serve you.
Yeah. Like what you hear? Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and on Twitter at M2Masterful. And when you check out our website, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter for freebies and information about upcoming podcasts and ways to master your goals. A mom or two or many are going to be able to, pull at their heartstrings in terms of ways that they can balance better in the household. But when it comes to business, because you have Balance Not Busy and you work and you do some workshops at Pure Barre, how do you navigate that world of entrepreneurship and career woman? Like, how does that balance happen for you? Do you have people that you delegate to? Like we mentioned with moms, like being able to delegate in the household. Do you do the same with your businesses as well? Autopilot? How does that look?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my business started primarily on social. And so my business tools are reflective of that. So with social, I am huge on automation. So to the extent that I can carve out like 4 power hours, I will sit down a week and plan out my social media posts, load them up to a site called Planoly.
I use that as well.
Yeah, it is a gym, like I'll sit down, I'll whiteboard, I'll think through, what do my Insta stories need to be? How can I inspire people? And let me tell you, I always start with why, because Balance Not Busy is a business built on motivation. So it's less about me and more about the people that I serve. Like those are my customers, in my opinion. And so I start with why, what can I help people with today? And if I ever find myself in a rut or can't think clearly, I just use the tools, the social media tools, to poll my audience. I say, hey, what do you guys need? What do you want to know? So just, regularly checking in there. And then that lifts a ton of the pressure off of me every weekday morning when I need to be getting ready to go to my full-time job. I'm not necessarily thinking about, is Balance Not Busy taken care of? Another thing that I do, when I'm kind of like banging out all the Balance Not Busy stuff, I think about opportunities for workshops. Who have I talked to that I think would be great, where I can send them a pitch deck and get some information in their hands. I also use Fiverr a lot. I love it. If you're not familiar, it's FIV as in Victor, ERR. There are other similar sites like Upwork and things like that, but I really have enjoyed my experience with Fiverr. I was preparing for a presentation in New Orleans a few months ago, and I wanted to refresh my PowerPoint deck. And, I'm a communicator. I work in public relations. It's absolutely something I could have done on my own. But I realized that it would have probably taken me about 3 hours or so because I would have overthought the colors and what picture I wanted to use on each slide and the transitions. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take that 3 hours back, and I'm going to enjoy that time, and rather I'm going to send a 20-minute email to someone on Fiverr and tell them exactly what I want them to do, and then let them create the PowerPoint.
Right.
And so, I got that time back. I had some fun. I got time back on my weekend, and overnight my PowerPoint was being designed by a graphic designer in Bangladesh. And then he sent it back to me, and it was ready to go. And I just had to drop in my notes. So, I look for ways to manage my own time. And, I'm telling people how to master time management, increase productivity, and prioritize wellness in my workshops. So I also have to live my own brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you have some automatic tools, which Planoly I also love. I use that religiously.
Yeah.
You have your 4-hour work week, which there's actually a book about that in terms of your business.
Yes. Well, and for Balance Not Busy, the goal is to always knock it out within 4 hours. But the reality is that when I have presentations during the week or I'm speaking or things like that, I do give it a little more time.
Okay, yeah.
Because in that 4 hours, I've got to do social planning, update the website, write a blog post or two, answer emails, and hang out with people like you that are so awesome to bring me on the show. So when I have weeks like that, I add probably another 4-hour time block, so that I can get it done. And if folks are in Atlanta or in a city that has mass transportation, for the love of everything, use it. It is public mass transportation is a huge amenity to your city if you have it, because I started taking MARTA. First the train, and now I take the bus and the train last year, and it has changed my life. When I am on the train, I am able to read and study because I'm a master of my craft. So I read a lot of books about, time management. I read a lot of articles. I'm able to do that on the train. I'm able to schedule blog posts. I'm able to respond to messages on Instagram, and it is awesome. I love it. Oh my gosh, it has changed my life. So I am a huge advocate for public transportation. If you're in Atlanta, I will see you on the MARTA, and if not, get on whatever system you have in your city, because it will change your life. You will get so much time back in your day, plus peace of mind. I mean, now that I don't really drive during traffic, I arrive to work ready to go and not flustered and annoyed, and I get home faster. I save myself 2 hours in my car in the evenings. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. Atlanta traffic will make you throw out all your religion once you get to work.
Yes. Like,
so
you'll be done with it.
Yeah. So that step of just taking public transportation, it sounds like it's a huge deal in terms of just having your time back and being able to have that moment to
absolutely. When people are
recharge.
Like, how do you do it all? And I only gave you a snippet of my life. I mean, there's a whole host of other things that I manage and navigate through. But when people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, I get on the train. I get on MARTA.
Right. No, that's awesome. But thank you for sharing those points for the entrepreneurs out there and just people who are in multiple careers. I think that's going to be really helpful in terms of just trying to navigate in the landscape of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship plus, a 9-to-5 career.
Absolutely.
How do you navigate balance not busy when it comes to family always depending on you for answers and handling a lot of the, different discussions that are happening in the family, and you feel like you're being pulled left and right in terms of just family? It doesn't have to be immediate, like your kids and your husband, but like just family members, and them not being able to understand, hey guys, I have this routine that I'm working on. If it does not fit in my schedule, I cannot help you at this moment.
Yeah, that one's tough because my family lives in Texas, and, they're 800 miles away, and I've lived away from them for many, many years, but I still feel the guilt of not being there for big moments. And honestly, for me, big moments are like going to church on Sunday with my grandmother and my mom, I feel the guilt a lot, or when they'll post on social media that they're all going out to eat for Mother's Day or Father's Day. And a lot of times that guilt then leads to me wanting to go there and, almost like I I will never say it's an inconvenience for me to be with my family or talk to my family, but at times it just doesn't work. Like it just doesn't work with the schedule. It doesn't work with like the things I have going on at work and time away, PTO. It just doesn't work. But I will try to make it work, and that then it just explodes, right? Like, because then I'm already feeling bad, and then I'm trying to make it work financially and with time, and and then it's bad news bears. But what I've learned is that it goes back to that giving myself grace, because what will happen is when I realize that I can't go visit with them, they'll call, and I'm also not in a position to talk. I might be in a junior league meeting, or I might be, or it might be early morning, and I really need to save that space for me every morning, and I can't have other things that kind of infiltrate that space. And
right.
So I have gotten better, because, I will never say that I was kind of always great at this, but I have gotten better at, number one, over communicating to family and really, really, really close friends when I'm moving into a season where my time is really kind of like all chopped up. Like, it's crazy that you asked that, because I'm in that season right now where I don't have a lot of pockets of time to handle. And it's not even just like to call, it's to handle the emotion that comes with checking in with folks.
Yeah.
Because like, if folks could see me, they would see that I'm kind of like straightening up a little bit.
Yeah. I was going to say, this is definitely a sensitive topic. And not just for you, but for a lot of people who are trying to find that line between, it's not that I don't want to insert myself, it's just life has not allowed me to. So I'm still trying to, and it also may be a part of, your own mental capacity.
And that's where I was going with it. Like, that's why I wanted to kind of straighten up, because this one's a tough topic, and here's the reality. If I have a day, or if I have a window of time, and to myself I say, well, let me call so-and-so, I don't know what's going to happen on the other side of that line. I don't know if they're going to say, I need you, or something happened, and because they're close people to me, I'm going to feel that something too, right?
Yeah.
And because of that uncertainty, and because I only have this one little pocket of time where I can just have quiet time, I can't take the chance. And as a result, I'm not checking in, I'm not calling, and it's hard, because I just don't know what's on the other side. Like, it could be anything. It could be, CG, I need money. CG, I had a hard day today, and this is what happened, X, Y, and Z. And see, I take on that. Take and just, I don't know. So a lot of times I just don't answer, or I just don't call. And I wait until I can give them all of me.
Correct.
And because it'll be a better situation. And you know what? I communicate that, though. Like, I will often tell people, hey, you know what? It's not that I'm too busy for you. It's that I don't have the space to give you my undivided attention. Yeah.
And that's fair.
Yeah. And that space could be as a result of a lot of different things. It could be because I'm carrying my own weight, and I need to kind of sort through that before I could be a blessing to other people. And sometimes it's just, I'm tired. And I just need to have a little bit of decompression and quiet time. And I don't want to have to do that with apologies. I don't want to have to say, I'm sorry, I'm not there for you, I'm sorry, I'm not available. No, I just want to have that time.
Yeah. That's great. That's an amazing point. And I think a lot of people might be going through that, because it's a very touchy subject, because it's your closest of family. You love them. And like you said, if they're going through something, you're going to feel that as well. And you do. And this goes back. This discussion is really about give yourself grace, because You really do have to know your own mental capacity and know, you know what, I just will not be able to pour into this person the way that I would if my mind is clear and I get to handle everything that's on my plate, and then come back to them with, with all of my open ears and ready to understand and receive their message, because I still need to pour into myself first. Let me pour into me. And once that's full, I have enough to overflow. Really.
And you know what's so crazy? That is the hardest for the quote unquote strong friend or strong family member.
Yes.
It's hard. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And I don't think that sometimes people that are not necessarily the strong, and it doesn't mean that you're not a great person, you just may not always be the strong friend or the strong family member, so you don't have that level of understanding as to how that feels to be that person, but then to also, like, people need you all the time.
Correct.
And then oftentimes, those same people that need you all the time are also the very same people that are not even checking up on you.
Wow.
Because they're saying, but she's strong. She's fine. She's got it.
Yeah.
And so you have to be your own therapist.
Yes.
Or you have to hire one.
That is an option, yes.
Yeah. But, I don't think that people that are not the strong people, understand the level of strength that's needed. Yeah.
I think another key word that you mentioned was communicate. Communicate that out. Don't, even if you don't answer every single phone call, just call them back or shoot them a text. Say, hey, I'm going through something right now, or I'm trying to handle out something. Let me call you back, and, when I can, type of thing. Communicate,
and
communicate.
Do that unapologetically.
Yeah.
And do it once, and that's it. Like once per situation. Like, the time that it takes to keep following up and being like, I'm still busy. I've still got this going on. I'm still burdened by this. No. Hey, you know what? Right now, going through a bit of a situation or a season in life, I'll be in touch.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it.
I love it. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I think that was really good. Do you have any upcoming events, any workshops that people can sign up for? How can people reach out to you?
So I do. Well, it's a convoluted answer. I do and I don't. So many of the workshops that I do, I'm hired by corporations, nonprofit organizations, churches, book clubs, etc., to come in and deliver a specific presentation for their group. There's a lot of customization that I will do.
Yeah.
So oftentimes those are not open to the public because they're for their group. So, for example, I've done the Centers for Disease Control and Health Prevention. I've done team builders with them. I'm doing a book club conversation with Lavo League.
Yeah.
An organization for, professional women. I've done some speaking engagements with the Urban League. I've also done some speaking engagements with Pure Bar, where I've facilitated a workshop after I've taught a class. So that was very custom as well as Leadership Buckhead and various leadership programs within the Metro Atlanta area.
That's awesome.
On the other hand, I've also hosted Balance Not Busy workshops. And those are more so like panel conversations where we may or may not do one or two interactive activities. And the next one of those, late breaking news, is coming up in the first quarter of 2019. So I'm holding the date close to the chest, but you can know that one of those is coming up very, very soon in the Atlanta area. And the goal in 2019 is to take that show on the road and make sure that I'm really reaching the masses all over the country. So I'm excited about that. I also, here and there, will have like a speaking engagement, and if folks want more information about those and if they're open to the public, you can definitely head to balancennotbusy.com, where I post them there. You can also sign up for my weekly Find Your Balance e-newsletter, which lists any upcoming events, as well as a lot of really cool tools and resources. Again, less about me, more about you. Mm-hmm. So the content there is typically a lot of articles or books or things that I've found that help me find my balance. So it's more so a curation of content. Mm-hmm. And also on social media. So on Instagram, Balance Not Busy. I'm very active there, both in posting and on Insta stories. So that's a great place to find out where I'm speaking and kind of what's going on in the world of Balance Not Busy.
Awesome. Well, CG, I truly appreciate you being here today and being so open and sharing how we can be more balanced in our busy lives.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you so much. Is there any final words or any, final notes to take from this? I think your 3 tips earlier were really, really hit home. So.
Yeah, well, I would be remiss if I didn't actually thank you for the opportunity and the support. One thing I will say that in closing, that has really been a phenomenal moment for me in my life as I've been on this journey of not just building a business, but finding my own balance, has been the collaboration and the people that really just have embraced, this school of thought. Mm-hmm. Because for a very long time, I was on an island and people thought I was crazy, and they would look at my to-do list and they would say, there's no way you're not busy. There's no way. But what I wanted people to better understand is that my to-do list is not a reflection of the way I feel. And the way I feel is balance. And that level of balance and the ability to center my thoughts and to think clearly and to have the white space and the ability to be my best version of myself is the only way that I want to live. And so I will never go back to that stressed, burnout, exhausted, tired, agitated, annoyed, frustrated, flustered CG that I was 5 years ago. I choose to only live this way. And I just encourage others to really think about it in that way. How do you want to feel? How do you want your body and your mind to feel? And if you want to feel balanced, then come on, join this journey and let's do it together.
Awesome. Well, CG, thank you so much. I received that message and I will join the journey.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great one.
You too. Hey there, Mediocre to Masterful is online. Visit mediocretomasterful.com to listen to our podcast or find us on iTunes. Share this episode with those you know in need of motivation. Through our site, you can join our Masterful email list to get freebies and helpful information. We're also on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and Twitter at M2Masterful. Thanks for listening.